Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Coaching!
As NJ is in standby mode, I tell you guys to subscribe above, like this video, and put any comments you have on the questions we have answered, or any questions you have down in the comment section below.
And make sure you contact us in the link in the description box below.
Mr. Parkin here, by the way, and this guy sitting next to me, who's probably going to take about 5 seconds to respond to me, is none other than NJ.
No, my name's not NJ, it's Arthur. Arthur, you any donuts. What's up?
I've never heard that joke before.
No, I just learned it today.
Very creative. So we got another Q&A coming up for you guys. If you want to ask us questions, the best way to do it is through our YouTube inbox or commenting down below. You can also go to our facebook.com/British Fist, ask questions there, or use Twitter, which isn't a very popular means of asking questions, but use the Twitter hashtag BritishFistQA and put your question in there too.
And thank you very much for the questions. Now we're going to dive straight into this Q&A.
But not before we announce that we're going to be doing a live Q&A.
Oh,
this Sunday we're going to be doing a live Q&A. You announced it on last week's Q&A.
Yes, I did.
You did. And we announced it on the Monday video we did, which replaced the Raw review, which we're not reviewing in for a while now. But we're going to be doing a live Q&A this Sunday, so bring any questions you have to that. We're not going to stop doing this Q&A. We're just going to do a live Q&A for you guys out there. We haven't done a live stream in a freaking long time, and I really want to.
And they're very fun to do, and in fact we're going to be doing it just for your entertainment. I hope you'll enjoy it as much as we will.
Indeed. Now, as NJ said about 30 seconds ago, let's get right to these questions. John Leslie Reed, do you guys agree that it's bullshit that Cena is the only guy allowed to wear pink for breast cancer awareness when you've got babyfaces like Mysterio, Sin Cara, who we named Botch Cara, etc.? He's the top guy. I can understand why they had him stand out with the pink, but you can have other wrestlers wearing pink.
That's what it says. Sometimes, like, when Punk was a face, there was a bit of pink for him. Miz wears the, he has a little badge they get. So they have tried, but Cena, yeah, all in pink, and that. Primetime players had a bit of pink, but with Cena being the one who should be the most seen, because he's the top guy.
Yeah.
I can see why the WWE chose him.
I can see why the WWE did it, but there were other guys that wore pink. I mean, you could have had like Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara wear pink, but it seemed like that John Cena is on a totem pole when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I can see why people were annoyed about it, but he was always going to be the main spokesperson. To be honest, out of everyone in the company, who else would be the spokesperson for this kind of thing other than John Cena? There isn't really anyone else. Is there? Oh, Vince, but you want someone on the roster to do it. But anyway, what's your favourite suplex variation? Mine's the Northern Light suplex.
I'll say Kurt Angle's one.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he does or Chavo's Three Amigo kind of stuff, those kind of moves, like he keeps them going. Does about 6, maybe 7 of them. Very nice.
I must admit, I do like the Chaos Theory move that Doug Williams does. That's pretty good. Also, Jeff Hardy's move where he like flips them over down there. I love that suplex variation as well. Even though it's most likely will never happen, do you think Christian deserves to win a Royal Rumble? No way. He is not a kind of guy you'd want to have win a Royal Rumble.
Sadly, I didn't really enjoy Christian in the main event scene, so I'll say for him to win the Rumble and go into the main event again, or the Royal Rumble winner's meant to get the main event but never does anymore, I'd say no to Christian. Unless
Cena or Rock wins that Rumble, they are not getting the main event. But I mean, Christian isn't the kind of guy you want to put a Royal Rumble on. He's not the kind of guy. It's like, especially when you've got other younger guys in there that could use it a lot more than Christian, who's essentially, you know, a couple of years away from retirement in his 40s. Why would you want to give the Royal Rumble to a guy in his 40s?
So I'm sorry, peeps.
Same here. V-Gravity HD. If you could team up with anyone in WWE, past or present, who would it be? Oh, this is an easy one for you.
Well, it would be easy, but there is someone that I've been wanting, if I was to wrestle, which is a past or present, and it's none other than Eddie Guerrero. I would love to be a tag team partner of Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, Eddie Guerrero. I did actually have Eddie Guerrero in my mind, but I would say I would love to team up with either The Rock or Mick Foley, simply because Rock was my favourite wrestler of all time, and Mick Foley, you'd be such a great guy to be in the ring with. I mean, Eddie Guerrero for you, I can understand that totally because of what a great talent he was, but for me it would either be Rock or Mick Foley, simply because of their ring styles, and I just would love to be in there with one of those guys.
Especially in the ring with Mick Foley, you know, the hardcore matches actually putting you over, awesomeness.
As long as I didn't have to take the tack bumps, I'd be alright. The Paguna. 5 reasons why WWE should go back to... Sorry, why Raw should go back to 2 hours. Oh, there are many reasons. 3 hours drags too much, which is why we, quite frankly, stopped reviewing the show now.
It's the dragging that does happen, but it's also the fact they've got to try and keep the entertainment for 3 hours. They can keep it for about an hour and a half, but then to make the other time, they can't do it.
They don't have enough feuds, or they don't have enough strong characters to go 3 hours, really. And it's also another point, I think, is they have a lot of SmackDown stuff on there, and it just doesn't seem as important when you actually watch SmackDown, which is another one of the reasons why we stopped watching SmackDown.
And I say, the one that we haven't mentioned in a while is, let's say Sunday pay-per-view, Monday another 3 hour show. People have work, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to do Sunday and Monday for 3 hours.
And like I said, 3 hours, you know, a 2 hour show sometimes was bad, But, you know, it didn't feel as bad because it only went 2 hours. So when a 3-hour show, even when a 3-hour show is good, it still feels bad because it went for 3 hours and you had to sit there for 3 hours, which is way too much time to watch anything, and it just goes on too long. Many reasons why Raw should go back to 2 hours, really. Live Forever 329. I really enjoyed doing this question, and NJ, when we prepared this answer. Your bookers for WrestleMania 29, what's your card? We feel, and we agreed on this, and we had to come up with a lot of compromises here. We think we've come up with a heck of a WrestleMania card for this year using the current talent and also using the legends that they've got. Our main event would be none other than
Punk and The Rock, just because I do not want to see Rock Cena 2, which is going to happen in reality, in our card, no bloody way.
And it would be for the WWE Championship, and it's just a compelling match, which I feel would happen, and it would be someone in the main event other than John Cena, and you could make Punk look like a big star. He's been looking like a mid-card champion for a long time now, so putting him in the main event of WrestleMania against The Rock for the WWE title would really do a lot for him.
And even though the WWE obviously are more behind John Cena than CM Punk to get a main event with The Rock, it just shows quality there.
I think instead of having Cena in the main event scene, I think one thing they've never done with John Cena is put him up against the Streak. And I think my semi-main event here would be Undertaker versus John Cena. Well, I think that is one match WWE, I think, are saving for a WrestleMania down the line because you've got your top guy in Cena, who is the one guy in the company I could legitimately think might be able to end the streak.
As much as I would not really want to see another accomplishment on John Cena's, 50-page CV he's got. The thing about this match, I will say this, at the minute, as Cena's not as involved in the show, or as big as he's going to win this match, he's going to win this match. Yes, it still happens now and again, but not as much as it used to. When he goes against Taker, you could think, there's more of a level chance here. Taker could beat him, without us believing that John Cena could overcome Taker.
Indeed, and I think another really important thing we needed to get sorted on this card was what they were going to do with Brock Lesnar. Now, I would have loved to have put Brock Lesnar against Undertaker, but I really felt the Taker-Cena match would have a better feel for WrestleMania. So, in the end, we went with Brock and Triple H because they've kind of started the storyline right now. They may as well just have the payoff at WrestleMania and just end it that way now.
Because the fact they've got Brock Lesnar, who thinks he's accomplished everything, Triple H will probably come back and think, I'm not giving up, I want Brock Lesnar. He'll probably run through all this stuff. The match will happen and then Triple H will win. Brock Lesnar will go bye-bye again.
Yeah, I think they're going to be signing Brock for another year, but who knows? I have the blow-off here of Triple H win, I guess, and do it like that. The World Heavyweight Championship match. I mean, they haven't done Orton versus Sheamus yet, the two biggest stars on SmackDown. If you're doing an Orton heel turn and you have him face Sheamus, that could be another big WrestleMania feel match.
I really think that the WWE delaying Orton's heel turn is absolutely ridiculous. So I'll say here, have him really punch someone down the line like Del Rio, clear him off, and then have this Sheamus match. Because I really think Orton and Sheamus, yes, you've got two people who they're both, you're going to win, you're going to win. So it would make a big match.
The battle of the people who are getting booked incredibly strong. Another person who we'd really want to highlight on this show, simply because we know he's going to be a star for WWE down the line, would be Ryback. And I think the best match for Ryback would be go revisit the John Cena Big Show feud at WrestleMania 20, which essentially made him a star for WrestleMania 21. So I would go back and have Ryback versus Big Show.
Well, following all those jobbers and local wrestlers he faced, Big Show was the one thinking, right, you're trying to make him look like a big star, a big guy that could take up people. Why not go against someone who used to have really strong booking as a monster or guy to work with, is the Big Show.
I think it would really benefit Ryback as well to work with a guy like Big Show who can obviously put over talent in the ring, which we've seen. We also want to sort out our tag team championships, and boy, have we come up with a great concept for this tag team championship match. We would have Team Rhodes Scholars versus the New Age Outlaws.
Oh, you didn't know!
US better call somebody! The intro to my channel.
Thank you. We saw them on the Raw 1000. I just thought, yes, they may not be in the greatest shape, but they're still over. They're still wanted to be seen. And the fact they could probably feel they can still wrestle. Why not put them at WrestleMania, where you're meant to have the big names, the big old stars come in to make a big match? Why not have them putting over our tag team champions?
Especially as Damien Sandow got interrupted that DX promo on the Raw 1000. It would really fit there. In my opinion, a good way to build Sandow up to WrestleMania would have been to go through all the members of DX and eventually culminate in a match with either Shawn Michaels or Triple H. That would have been a great way of highlighting Damien Sandow. Obviously, they weren't going to go down that route. I just thought it was a good idea. We also want a special attraction match for this pay-per-view, and I think no better special attraction, in my opinion, would be Sin Cara versus Rey Mysterio. With all the masks and all the luchadors and stuff, that would be a real nice, not just a match to not just a match to highlight a future star for WWE, while also from someone passing the torch almost, but it would be an attraction.
Well, there's been many stories about Rey Mysterio eventually leaving because of his needs and the fact that he's been there, done what he needs to. I think at WrestleMania would be a perfect time to possibly start wrapping up his WWE career and for him to put over, not someone's going to be as good as him, because I don't think Sin Cara's going to make it there, but someone to pass in, you beat me, or we've had a great match, here you go.
And to open up the card, essentially, we'd have a very exciting Money in the Bank match, because let's face it, we want the Money in the Bank to be back at WrestleMania. We could have the IC champion in there. We could have guys like Wade Barrett in there, Kofi Kingston in there, the US champion in there. We can incorporate all these different guys in a Money in the Bank ladder match, which essentially is one of the things that makes WrestleMania such a great show.
Well, yes, we've used some talent already in the match we've already named, but I still think if the WWE were to combine wrestlers that we've missed out and probably some old wrestlers we want to see more involved by WrestleMania, I think this Money in the Bank could definitely be one to kick off WrestleMania in a big.
Especially if they give someone like Barrett the Money in the Bank here, which would make a lot of sense. So I think, to be honest with you guys, I think we have come up with a really good WrestleMania card. I'd like to see if you guys agree with us on that one, because we really like this card.
And also for competition, try and beat our card.
Yeah, good luck with that one, guys. We had first dibs. Howard the Man asked us, if the Divas Division didn't die, do you think Caitlyn or AJ would be the next Divas for the 5 years to sell merchandise?
To be honest, I think it was going to die from years and years back. I think when they started losing, like Mickie James, Victoria, Stacey Keebler in a way, Tori Wilson, Trish Stratus, Lita, they were going to always struggle. Yes, they got Beth Phoenix and Natalya in, but I still think for a while they were going to struggle.
Yeah, the Divas Division is always going to struggle. Lack of talent, lack of featuring of the talent. Yeah, the Divas Division, even if the Divas Division was quite high, I don't think Caitlyn or AJ would really be good enough to really be a focal point of the Divas Division, but that's just me. What do you think about Tensai changing back to Albert and growing back his hair? Well, the gimmicks failed. I mean, at least people would know who the fucker is.
Again, from Tensai, who's now been established as a Japanese guy, for him to automatically quickly turn into back to his old character and be like, why bring him as Tensai? So I can see why you think the WWE should turn back to Albert. If they wanted the Albert, that should have been when he returned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about the Tensai character anymore, so we'll move on. 619 Mohammed, what is the best gimmick in WWE history besides The Undertaker? Oh, it has to be, in my opinion, it either has to be Stone Cold Steve Austin or Hulk Hogan. One of those two.
The Honk Tonk Man.
Seriously? Seriously?
No.
Really?
Doink the Clown.
Really?
No. Gooker.
Really?
No, I'm naming the silly ones.
No, but I mean, in terms of the gimmick, I mean, you know,
Big D Johnson.
No, I mean, Ultimate Warrior was a good gimmick. Hogan was a good gimmick. Rock and Austin were both good gimmicks. One of those four. I think there are loads of great gimmicks, but Undertaker's is timeless. It's lasted for like 30. It's lasted for a good 20 odd years now, which is fantastic. And they, Hulk Hogan. Obviously, a lot of the other ones we're talking about have a lot of a shorter shelf life, but they had such big impact on the business. Philly Boy London asks us 4 questions. Number 1. This is an interesting one. Do you think Kevin Nash had a point when he said wrestlers don't have the physical charisma they did in the past? I think the thing is with Kevin Nash is I agree with him that they don't have the charisma or the talent of the last, of the last what?
Kevin Nash charisma.
Yeah, there is a point there, but I do see what he's saying. Basically, what he said was these smaller wrestlers you get in the WWE right now, you don't really recognize them. They don't really have the star power. You can't really distinguish them. Like the Hogans, you'd automatically know about, but you wouldn't really know about CM Punk. I see what he's talking about here. But I think what he said was a little bit stupid in the sense that you've had small guys that have been stars for WWE. I think he really should have picked his words a little bit more carefully when he did it, even though I think there is some validity in his argument.
Yeah, he seems to be the one that runs his mouth off just because he's not involved anymore. So for him to come up with something like this, to bash what's been coming now in the now era, now time, I think it's a bit of a shame because some of the ones we have got now are paying off, maybe not as much as the old ones.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially the comparison that he's using here. Do you think Daniel Bryan will ever win the WWE title? I mean, he was good enough to win the World Heavyweight, but he won't ever be good enough to win the WWE, in my opinion.
The way I look at it is that I think this tag team feud is going to be put Bryan over. So in the future, I think they could give him a shot or a run with the title after they rebuild him back up. But for now, it looks like a no.
I just think as soon as they gave him the World Heavyweight Championship, and he was always going to back down to mid-card, I don't really ever see this guy winning the WWE Championship. I really don't. As much as you, Daniel Bryan marks out there, might want him to win it, I don't think he will. Do you think specialist pay-per-views are harming the overall product, i.e. no ladder matches ever apart from CLC and Money in the Bank? I think, to be honest with you, yeah, I think the gimmick pay-per-views, the specialist pay-per-views, especially when you have like Hell in a Cell, you have to have a Hell in a Cell match at Hell in a Cell, especially when there's no need for it, when there's no, when there's no need for the Hell in a Cell match. It's kind of stupid, and it does harm the overall product because you can't have the feud-ending, matches at these pay-per-views. You have to have it at Hell in a Cell when it's unnecessary most of the time.
The gimmicky pay-per-views, I'd scrap all of them, even Money in the Bank or ones that you think have been entertained in the past, and just put them into proper pay-per-views. But I'd say the fact that we are losing big ladder matches now, we're losing big table matches now, I think it is a bit of a shame, and they are harming the big gimmicky matches we could have at pay-per-views. I do.
I think the problem is you can't have these matches at any pay-per-view. You have to have them at that one pay-per-view. So you don't see any tables matches unless it's a TLC. You don't see any ladder matches unless they're a TLC or maybe Extreme Rules,
I'd say some like ladder matches. You could have like a big ladder match at WrestleMania, not the Money in the Bank, but I mean like a ladder match for the Intercontinental or the World or something like that. But shame they just scrapped that and just thought of having the gimmicky pay-per-views.
Do you think Goldust's gay gimmick back in '96 was good PR for homosexuals or bad? I don't really know. I mean, the Goldust character was unique. I can see why people like the Goldust character. I don't really know whether it was pro-heterosexual or homosexual or whatever. I don't really know because I didn't see the gimmick fully, but I don't really know what the gimmick was all about back then.
Well, with Goldust's character, I think he could slide into like any gay gimmicks you can come up with, but I think obviously they moved on from that and gave him much stronger character that suited him well. So I say it was suited back then, but then obviously it grew to the Goldust we know now.
Yeah, and the political correctness of the world nowadays, you'd never get a gay gimmick. AJ Warrior, any dream matches for WrestleMania 29? Austin and Punk would be one that sticks out in my mind.
I'd push it to 30, but yes. I'd say that match is bound to happen somewhere down the line. Other big matches.
Ryback versus John Cena would be a big match in my opinion. Taker versus Cena, we mentioned that already.
Punk and Rock, we're getting that. So yeah, they're the main ones. But if we had to go extra legendary, we've said most of our WrestleMania card we got there has like that New Age Outlaws one. Yeah. I would love to see that, but bigger match than that. Most of us we've seen, especially Raw 1000, were okay, but not actually 100% with it. But Rikishi, I'd somehow have at WrestleMania 29, probably just for the sake against Brodus Clay.
And a dance-off against Brodus Clay, that would be excellent. What would you hate more? One, basically, there's a list of 4 here. What would we hate more? Another Daniels and Styles feud, which we're currently getting in TNA right now. Cena takes over Ric Flair's 16-time championship record. Raw do the guest hosting again. Or the Wrestling Jesus becomes someone's manager. I think out of all those, I would be able to tolerate most the Wrestling Jesus becoming someone's manager.
I would not want to see Cena take over Ric Flair. Cena is nowhere near a Ric Flair, and I would really be against that so much.
Yeah, so for me, the most tolerable one would be the Wrestling Jesus becomes someone manager.
Accepted one, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's for me. I mean, that's all I'll say. Norwegian WWE guy asked us 4 questions. What should WWE do to make wrestling cool again? I don't know. I don't think they even know.
Straight away, again, we said this over and over and over again, but I say as soon as the writers are replaced, the fact that you bring in, like, maybe more expensive writers, but they'll probably do a better job at writing what goes on in their company, which will add in the coolness.
Just more edge to the product would make it a lot cooler. Right now, though, the way it's seen in the mainstream, you're never going to go back to that point again unless you find a different way of changing the presentation of wrestling, which is what the Attitude Era did so well. Interesting question, this. If TNA and WWE swap rosters, do you think WWE would keep keep the brand lead? Well, TNA's roster is actually really strong, and I know TNA would have TNA would have like John Cena, Donald Lesnar, and Rock. But do you really think that would? Do you really think that star power would change it that much?
Well, I think the fact that some of those wrestlers you named
are temporary.
So take away all the legendary wrestlers that are in WWE right now. The roster they have, it's okay, but nowhere near the way it used to be. So I say switching them, I don't think it's going to change much.
No, because I think the TNA roster is actually very strong and has a lot of depth. So I think if WWE had TNA's roster, it wouldn't really change that much, in my opinion. You just would have that like real top guy, that's all.
And TNA's roster is WWE's roster.
Well, you could say that, yeah. Do you think Undertaker should have another WrestleMania? I mean, yeah, he should. Whether or not he's healthy enough is the question, though.
Taker, I think he's had the nice round number now. He's at that point. So, to be honest, he could lose any time now or leave any time now. But another WrestleMania, I think if they have the final one or final 2 wrestlers are someone that they have full faith into finish Taker off or part, then yes. If they don't, they're just going to bunk anyone against Taker. I'd say wrap it up now because Triple H was the perfect finishing match.
Yeah, the end of an era match. But I mean, if they have like a young guy who they know is going to be a top star, or if they can't just throw anyone at Taker, they need to give him big matches. If they're going to use him for a special attraction, they need to give him big matches. And if they're not going to give him big matches, if they're not going to give him guys like Cena, Lesnar, then really there's not much point because then you can't really suspend people's disbelief. Who is your favourite jobber of all time? Do you have a jobber?
If I say Slate, because he's always been used now, Doink the Clown in a way.
I can't really remember.
No, I just named those two.
That's the reason why we don't remember jobbers, because they're jobbers. Anything Goes show WWE. What was your favourite mid-card character of the Attitude Era? Interesting. Mid-card. What? Mid-carder, you fucker. Triple H.
Yeah, that's it. Them two. There we go. Next one.
No, seriously. Favourite mid-card character? There was a lot of good mid-card characters. Like, you had The Godfather, you had Rikishi, Too Cool. Like, they're all generally in the mid-card. Like, not the kind of guys that would win championships, but the kind of guys that would be there to entertain. There are a lot of good characters like that, but...
I know he grew to the main event, but Eddie was always a good mid-card in the Attitude Era.
Definitely, like a Benoit or Kurt Angle back at the time, yes. So there was a lot of mid-card. And that was the great thing about the Attitude Era. You had all these special mid-card characters that didn't necessarily need to win belts, but they could always be entertaining as well. So, one more question before we end this Q&A. The Lord Devil 17. When do you think Cody Rhodes will be a contender for a world title shot? Not for a long time, in my opinion. They had the perfect opportunity earlier this year when they built him up quite well, in my opinion. But then they dropped it off so much to a point where he was down there and he can't really be there for a legit shot anymore, in my opinion.
Even though there was a time when they looked like they were going that way, thinking, yes, he's going to get there, he's going to get there. I say this tag team, though, the fact that he's with someone who else is going to be a future main star, I think this tag team is going to build them both up to look noticeable, good name. So I say eventually, in a few years, I think they could both be up there.
Definitely not this year. I think 2013 you'd be pushing it a little bit. Maybe 2014. I don't really know. It depends what plans they have for Cody Rhodes. But anyway, that's in another Q&A from us. The precious. Bloody hell, you hurt my hand doing that, NJ. Put any comments you have on the questions we've answered down in the comment section below. Remember the live Q&A coming up this Sunday, which we're very much looking forward to doing. So bring your question hats to that one, NJ.
Thank you very much for watching. It's been another Q&A, which we've enjoyed doing. We've got another few more coming up, obviously, in the weeks to come, which we enjoy so much. They're going to go on and on and on and on and on. And I've got Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, goodbye.